This is the BCSN Pod Zone, your place for the news, views, and conversations about all things related to HBCU athletics. Here are the BCSN SportsWrap, Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU SportsLab, Knights of the Round Table, the pregame show, the Carlos Brown Show, the ONG Strike Zone, and more in one place. We are changing the way you consume HBCU sports, one broadcast at a time.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
That spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable. That's a really tight spot.
Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes, even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working!
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders scalp shield, never not working.
Are you ready? It's time. The inaugural Urban NerdCon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybach, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban NerdCon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
Another edition of the BCSN SportsWrap. Brian Fulford and AD Drew here as we come to you on a Freedom Day. Happy Freedom Day, Juneteenth. And also, it happens to be Father's Day. So we say Happy Freedom's Day and Happy Father's Day to all of the to all of us, and then to all the fathers. So, Drew, I say to you, Happy Father's Day, my brother. How's your day?
Hey, going all right. Didn't heard from everybody who I need to hear from. So just another happy day and happy. The thing about this weekend now is it seems that Juneteenth or dads get lost in this weekend because we have as a community two things to celebrate. So which one gets lost? Because today is technically Juneteenth, June 19th. In addition to it being Father's Day, it's kind of like Martin Luther King holiday. We celebrate the holiday on that Monday, but January 15th is actually his birthday, and seems like I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional when they signed the legislation in last year, but I wonder if Father's Day is going to get lost in the multiple Juneteenth celebrations. Because
just one more,
and I've seen the
meme. Dads get lost in. Just one more thing to add to dads being forgotten.
Right. I mean, you go to any restaurant on Mother's Day, standing room only, can't even get on the parking lot. Today they begging you to come in. Hey, it's Father's Day. Hey, Dad, we already fired up the grill for you. That's your Father's Day gift. We already got the coals going on the grill. That's Father's Day gift for you. And and for all those out there, we know there's this, I don't want to say misconception sometimes, but there's this misnomer or this thing that a lot of fathers are involved in their children's lives and things like that. But they were there at one point in time. Yeah. Hey, they were there at least once. They were there at least once. So let's put that out there. We wouldn't have these children without some type of relationship.
Conceived, when they were conceived?
Yeah. That may be the only time. But
or in court?
Stop it, Brian.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad.
But my point being, we give all these credos to mothers, ladies, no offense. This is a man's holiday. You can say that you have been dad and mom, but let us have this day. And for all those single dads out there who go unheralded, unvaulted, do all the things that a single mother do. You think being a single mom is hard? And I can tell you from experience, be a single dad in this society and try to raise a child by yourself. Because I was a single dad, and the first thing people used to ask, "Where's the mama?" Did you ask her that? Well, why you asking me that?
I take care of my kids.
Do you need can I need the mother to fill out so and so and so and so? My name on the birth certificate. Why I can't do that? So there's a lot of prejudice that goes on against men who choose to raise their child for one reason or another, be it
it's all historical. It's historical
circumstance, everything like that. And Lord Jesus, don't ask for any type of assistance or anything like that. And I'm on my soapbox right now. The court should not have to tell a man. The court should not have to tell a man how much your child is worth $300 a month or $500 a month. As adults, you guys lay down, y'all made that child, y'all should be able to figure out how much it is. So, but for all those brothers who out there who don't handle their business and don't contribute financially, I'm talking to you. You make the rest of us look bad, so that by people who do have to wind up because they can't get this thing solved, that's when they get screwed in court, because y'all mess it up for a lot.
You messed it up for everybody else. You messed it up for everybody else.
You mess. You are the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of fatherhood. And what do I mean by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? We
Yeah,
know
please
that
explain.
the dunk was outlawed in NCAA basketball because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He messed it up for 10 years because he was so dominant as a force. Y'all bad dads. Y'all are the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're messing it up for the rest of us out here. You messed it up for the David Thompsons of the world. That's no disrespect to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm
Can
sorry.
you imagine? I mean, just that's a historical nugget right there. Imagine a rule being instituted because of a competitive advantage it gave a tall guy. That's crazy, right? That's unbelievable. I think I wish we could come up with some rule because of Steph Curry. 3-point shooting should be limited to a maximum of 4 per game or something. Let's create a Steph Curry rule that prevents you from shooting more than 4 to 5 threes a game, and after that, you take points off the board. See, that would be the opposite of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rule. Where a small guy who could shoot really well, penalized the game. They changed the game because of that. So,
Brian.
yeah.
What was the more significant rule change? More person who had more impact on the game for rules. Somebody like Kareem, who was outlawed, or somebody like Wilt Chamberlain, who led to the goaltending rule, offensive and defensive goaltending rule, who led to the lane being expanded not once but twice from 6 to 12 to 16 feet. And you can go on and on with
Can I add
some
Can I
of
add
these things.
Allen Iverson and the dress code rule? Can I add that rule as one of the significant rules of the NBA? The
Of
Allen
basketball,
Iverson dress
yes,
code rule, even though it
correct.
was not necessarily part of the game, but it
Or
all
the
went into
flock
the
rule.
well, have they created that rule yet? Or who's that named after? LeBron or Marcus Smart?
I don't know. I don't know who they got it, but they've got it in college. You can get a technical foul for flopping, and I mean it's
Hey,
it's ridiculous. Sounds like a
let me
short.
make sure. Yeah, let me make sure we give mention, of course. Tomorrow's a federal holiday, Monday, June 20th, because it is it'll be the first federal holiday for Juneteenth since let's see. Let me rephrase that. Juneteenth is the first new federal holiday approved since MLK Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, in 1983. So, of course, it's a federal holiday. Banks are closed tomorrow. Federal offices are closed. It's summertime, so I'm sure there's a lot of businesses that'll still be operating. UPS and FedEx and now the post office will be closed, I'm assuming. But
That's federal.
So yeah, that's federal. So that'll be closed. So just take that into consideration. And again, Juneteenth will be floating around Father's Day, I'm sure, again. So thanks for watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, I already see Mary 305 jumping in there early. Hello to you. She sends out happy Father's Day well wishes. And so wherever you are, wherever you're watching us, if you're watching us live, if you've had a chance to kind of sneak away from wherever you are, go and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to share the show. Let people know what we have coming up today. We're going to get into talking about a little bit about the APR, which has been the big topic of conversation since Tuesday when the NCAA released their report. So we've got Dr. Cavil, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil coming on, joining us, and we'll get a chance to get into talking about APRs. We've had some good conversations lately regarding that. It's been some good articles. Drew, you wrote a good article, which you can go find on mybcsn.net. So we're going to try to not only talk about that, but we're going to try to look at some different angles as well about the APR. Also, now this went a little under the radar, Drew. The MEAC and SWAC both finished their spring meetings. So I'm not sure what we'll be able to share on this show. Probably be more info coming out over the course of the week regarding that. The Black College Football Hall of Fame dropped their new class was inducted on Saturday.
Too bad nobody gets to see it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sadly, nobody got a chance to see it, which I think is a shame, and we've got to find a way to correct that. Let's see what else. When Doc comes on, we'll get a chance to talk about the sort of late breaking news that several media outlets seem to have dropped regarding Howard's decision to stay in the MEAC. And I say
you mean
late
the news
because
that we broke a month ago?
Yes.
Right,
so we'll talk to Doc about that inside the HBCU. And go back and look at episode 259, just to drop that out there. So it's about a month late for some folks, but I mean, I guess it had to be official before we really chose to take a look at that. We've also got some dates for the college football media days and a little bit more as we go. If we have time, we'll maybe get into some quick discussion regarding some of the preseason polls that are out. You know how much we love preseason polls over here. But anyway,
right.
It gives y'all something to talk about. So, what were you going to add in there, Drew, before we get going into first level of conversation? What would you want to add or jump in there with?
Media outlets should verify their sources when they print something. But how much more of a verifiable source do you need than the commissioner of a conference coming on to say that the other team is not leaving? How much more verifiable information do you need than that team putting out a press release with the other 7 teams saying they were not going anywhere? But no, we had to wait until the CAA comes out and says, we extended the invitation to Howard and they denied it. Why don't we believe ourselves?
I will. Here's what I'll say, and I will credit sources. The MEAC, obviously. So what we're talking about is a month ago. Dr. Sonia Stills, I think I have the name correct. Sonia Stills. I think read Sonia, so sorry, Sonia. I think that's why I do that a lot. Sometimes I mess up names based on movies I heard, but anyway. So yeah, she did come on episode 259 inside the HBCU SportsLab, and she confirmed then when asked, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Drew, weren't you part of that episode?
I was a part of that episode.
I thought so.
I remember that so
I thought
vividly.
So. Yeah, so she did come out and confirm that that Howard was going to stay and stay as a part of the MEAC. And of course, there were rumors in the weeks leading up to that. There were reports published by a couple of sources, by a couple of our good media folk that had said or that had alleged that Howard was looking to leave. So when she came on the show, she did make a point to say that Howard was committed to the MEAC and told her they were committed. And they were going to be publicly stating that, in a few days later. Okay, and so back on May 4th is where University President Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick stated that Howard University has been a proud member of the MEAC for over 50 years. We're doing everything we can to enhance the national visibility of our program and to be the best in-class institution in the league. Our sole focus is to ensure our student athletes are prepared to compete at a high level and win championships in their respective sports in the MEAC. He continued to say, this past November, after making a historic hire of Commissioner Stills, my colleagues and I reaffirmed our commitment to the MEAC. Now, I'm sorry, hold on. That's actually a quote coming from Delaware State President Dr. Allen, that Delaware State was also a school that was rumored to be looking elsewhere. So pretty much all parties, along with Norfolk State. So all parties, and her coming on the show was just really kind of letting everybody know, look, we've got our group. We got a group. It may be small. There may be people chuckling, whatever else, but we got our group. I forgot what the coin or the numbers was, but because there's 6 teams right now playing football.
Yeah, 8 total. Elite 8.
8 total, 6 playing football. Right. 6. Hello, I got the numbers right. 6 playing football, 8 total. Okay.
8 total, correct.
Yeah. So right, and so that's what was publicly put out there. Howard confirming, reiterating. So of course, obviously, after the MEAC spring meetings, you start getting the news reports and the just the information that says report Howard expected to stay in MEAC after turning down CAA offer to join the league. Well, yeah, we knew that. Somehow, as first reported by Hero Sports, Daniel Steenkamper, he seemed to be on the ball. He was in. Howard informed CAA officials that they will not join the conference. So he had the breaking news apparently that Howard was going to,
despite the fact you heard it on Black College Sports Network first.
Yeah, despite the fact. So look, geez, it is what it is. But we are in the business of, look, if you give me something to confirm, I'll confirm it. That's fine. If I read something somewhere else, I'll confirm what I read, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, I understand that's the nature of the business. That's what it is. So I will give credit. Kendrick Marshall did make a point in his article on HBCUsports.com. He did reference the fact that the news comes a month after Commissioner Stills dismissed the notion that Howard was moving. He did cite the fact that she did come on inside the HBCU SportsLab in May regarding that. So
thank you, Kendrick.
Yeah, and so I'm just reading his story. I'm not saying that anybody else did or did not. I'm just I happen to be clicking on his story as I'm talking. So, I just got a chuckle out of that. That's all. I'm not trying to start nothing. Got a chuckle out of that. All right, Drew. So do we want to get it? Let's talk APR for a quick second before Doc come in.
We sure we want to get into that before the break, and you sure we want to get out some of the other news?
Well, I do want to. Okay, so this is what I'll say, and as we get into, we have this quick little conversation. Right. Because I know when Doc comes on, we'll get into maybe talking a little more nuts and bolts. But I want everybody to think about the past week and what we've consumed regarding APR scores and numbers, right? And I was actually thinking about this, and either the NCAA are evil geniuses or they're maniacally smart, because they've got us talking about APR numbers as if they are sports scores and rankings. And what do sports fans love to do more than anything else? We love to talk about scores, stats, and rankings. Do we not? I mean, hell, we just talked about, look, we can start the show right now, Drew, and talk about, hey, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors just won the NBA title. Drew, where is Steph Curry now in your top 10 all time? Is he an all-time top 10 guard? Is he an all-time top 10 player? Is he an all-time top 10 under 6'4" player? We could go anywhere with that number.
I could give you some of those answers if asked.
Right. So my point being is, I want you to think how crazy. And we really don't know what these numbers fluctuate. I mean, yes, they've given us the parameters, but unless you really start digging deep into these numbers and what they really mean, all we're looking at are scores. We're looking at numbers. We're looking at numbers. Now, what do these numbers? These numbers, I'm gonna reference back, Drew, an article from 2016, right? This is on Vice.com. This is from 2016. The headline says the NCAA's academic progress report punishes HBCUs more than it promotes education. Okay. This paragraph right here caught my eye. In referring to the APR scores. Its second paragraph says the APR arguably doesn't do much to measure actual learning. Instead, it appears to prioritize athletic eligibility, not education, and in doing so, it inarguably ends up punishing athletes at poor schools, primarily America's historically black colleges and universities. 2016 article, Drew. This came out a week after the reports came out then. 6 years later, has anything changed with that statement?
Not a whole lot, Brian. Not a whole lot. I really don't think that it has changed.
Yeah. So I mean, I just find it maddening when we talk about APR scores. It is interesting though. I mean, like I said, it touches the nerve of what sports fans do. We're going to talk about preseason polls. We're going to talk about other things like it touches into a specific nerve. So that's what I found most interesting about APRs. What over the past week, as you've been in different discussions, read different articles, what have been your thoughts, Drew, about the APR numbers, or maybe where would you like to see the conversation move to?
And it's kind of tough, but the biggest question that I have with APR scores are how we ultimately will the transfer portal affect APR? Because we have not gone a full APR cycle. When I mean a full cycle, the 4-year reporting cycle for APR, to see how the transfer portal will affect those. Because kids are leaving schools, which you get dot points. When someone leaves your school, you get dot retention points. And you cannot get those points back unless they graduate from the institution that they transfer to. Well, Brian, there's about 2,000 kids who just out there sitting in the transfer portal. And unless they are on athletic scholarship at their new school, those points do not get counted. So although they may graduate from another institution, they don't get athletic money. I wonder if you get those points back. That's the question that I want to have someone else.
And, a lot of these numbers that we look at are 4-year rolling numbers based on a 4-year period. But I think one of the things that we also have access to, we have single year. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then, a question that I brought up on the O&G strike zone in the middle of the week. What is the correlation between athletic staffs, where you have academic advisement staffs, compliance staffs, and your numbers? Obviously, we documented and talked about Florida A&M in the SWAC has the smallest academic and compliance staff in the SWAC. And I think those two have to be combined. And then I say they have to be combined and thought of because and let me give a quick little plug here. If you guys haven't listened to the Carlos Brown show from yesterday with AD Roman Banks, you missed out. And thankfully you can go back and watch it, listen to it again. But AD Roman Banks did a great job of breaking down where SWAC schools need to be. It was almost like he was in my mind, and he was talking to, even though he might, obviously he's Southern's AD, a lot of the things that he pointed out, and I'll go to one in particular about how universities will move staff from the academic side to athletics because they're trying to find somewhere for them to go. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit of what he said is, but, because they're trying to keep somebody on staff, or maybe, you're not really going to, universities have a habit of moving people around, right? We like you, but we're not going to fire you. So we're going to move you to another department. Well, they may move somebody out of university academics over to athletic academics or something to that effect. And then all of a sudden, that person is not really certified with the NCAA, so the standard is different. And he brought that out. He talked about that. He talked about, when you move somebody from the academic side over to athletics, you better be putting the investment in getting them trained and up to the standards that the NCAA has set.
Especially if your institution does not have a culture or tradition of high academic scores. And that's no knock against the institution. But if you move someone over and you are a borderline school where your overall APR is low 930s, then you better be careful someone don't screw that up, because you're already on the borderline. Versus if you've got an institution where everybody is a 970 or 980, you have a little bit more leeway to let them learn on the job a little bit more. If you're at a 925, that person has to come in and make impact. Do you really have time to get that person trained and up to speed? On the athletic side, we understand they know academics, but just because you know academics does not mean you know athletics. And what do I mean by that, Brian? You've got a Mac, you've got a PC. Both of them run similar programs, but there are differences. It could be the same program, but it can run totally different on a Mac versus a PC. Some apps work different on a Galaxy versus an iPhone.
True.
And those are some of those differences that you have to know. Yeah, you know how to work this app, but do you know how to work it on an iPhone? Because you've been using the Galaxy all this time, or vice versa. That's the best way that I could break down what Roman Banks was saying.
That's a good analogy.
In layman's terms.
Yeah, that's a real good analogy right there. I think another thing that he brought up that I was really impressed with was that he stated there are grants that the NCAA offers to universities to help with their staffing issues in compliance in academics, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So
why isn't everybody taking advantage of that?
Let's put a pin in that, and let's ask an academician about that when we come back from break, because Dr. Cavil is sitting in our waiting room waiting on us.
All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap. We'll be back in just a minute.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit.
Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio.
That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
Don't worry, Ma. We'll be there soon.
We? Is this the one?
Well, let's say I found the one who takes me to another level. Always stays calm under pressure. Most importantly, the one that helps me discover the coolest places.
This sounds wonderful.
Come outside, I'll introduce you.
They're here.
Definitely the one.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Frontier.
Follow the Black College Sports Network on social media at MyBCSN1, the number 1, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MyBCSN1. All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and AD here, joining us now. The host, the namesake of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU SportsLab, is the one and only, the professor, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. Doc, happy Father's Day, happy Freedom Day. How you doing?
Appreciate that. Same to you, fellas, brothers, about that. I'm doing well. Excited to be on with you all.
All right. First off, one of the things that we were chatting about before we get into, obviously we're going to bring in Doc and we're going to talk about APR numbers and scores and how fun all that stuff is to talk about. But we got to give mention to, again, Doc's show, episode 259, just to put it out there in case anyone missed it. Episode 259. With Commissioner Stills of the MEAC, where she came on the show, Doc, and she told everybody what, essentially what was going to happen, what was happening. And then, of course, hey, look, the story comes out over the last 24 hours that, a young Cub reporter from the Hero Sports, apparently he had some breaking news that Howard's not going to the CAA, and I don't think he ever mentioned that that was already discussed a month ago. So we bring you on, Doc, to give you your flowers once again, and just remind people that we do drop nuggets. Doc's, all of when there's nuggets to be dropped, we drop nuggets. So, Doc, any comments or thoughts as you saw that information come out?
No, not really. I appreciate you all sharing and providing a little bit of historical component of that, and that we had the interview. We were excited about the opportunity to get Commissioner Stills on in a lot of different reasons. It's what we do, and the fact that she provided that information that the Elite Eight, as they like to be called, including Howard University, are committed. And then they dropped the letter and the video the next day with the presidents talking about they committed, but it still was not enough. And it is fascinating when we talk about Emancipation Day, is that oftentimes it depends on who drops the news of who wants to believe it. And for whatever reason, that's just the world and the historical nature of what we live in at this time. But it's not going to stop us doing what we do in terms of those that do appreciate it. There's a lot more out there that appreciate what we bring to the table and the level of hard work that we put into it. And so that's really why we do it, not for the accolades, not for those that do not have that same mindset, but for all those that truly understand and have a appreciation for the historical nature of this black colleges that are out here beyond sports, but that's the part that we concentrate on.
Yeah. It's a great reminder. A lot of people